Hello my friends, and welcome to part 4. What we're working on today is mounting the radiator. I didn't really get much done, kind of a wasted day yesterday, but I did get the rear sway bar mounted up. A couple of the bolts were a little finicky when it was removed off the junkyard car. They got a little smashed. Threads got a little smashed. I had to just cut some new threads, and it was a little bit of a pain. You know, what should have been a 15-minute job ended up taking up, like 45 minutes. Pretty typical. Got the roll bar mount painted, mounted in place. So anyway, thought maybe my metal fabrication days were behind me. I was sadly mistaken. So the radiator mounts on these brackets here, and I couldn't figure out why they'd been cut up. This one had a chunk cut out of the bottom, small, couple 2.5, maybe 3 inches out of the bottom. This one had a chunk taken out of the top, and I kind of saw these rough cuts on there. I'm like, what the heck? Then you go to fit the radiator and you realize why. That top bracket needed to be cut out for the spout on the top, and the bottom one needed to be cut out for the outlet on the bottom, inlet, outlet, whatever, spout. Yeah, so I'm gonna have some fitting to do because that outlet there on the bottom, it's gonna have to go under. Maybe under and through, maybe all the way under with like a U. If I go under with a U, it's gonna be made out of steel, stainless or something like that, because it may take a shot somewhere down the road. Anyway, so the radiator, they give you these 2 brackets, actually they give you 4 brackets, and then mounted thusly. And you can see, the radiator will slip in here, a little rubber, a little padding in here. That one's fine, that one's fine. And then, where's my bracket? And there it is. And on this side, you mount this like so, and it hangs, holds the weight of the radiator. Radiator actually weighs a good amount when it's full of fluid. So this, just bolts on, and again, we'll pad this out with some soft padding, some one-sided sticky tape type of padding. But over here on this side, you can't do that because you got the outlet, and that's no go. This takes the same place. This right here takes the same place as the outlet. So, okay. And the directions are no help at all, other than they tell you you need to be 16 inches off the frame rail. So that's what this piece of cardboard is, measuring to the top of the radiator to that 16 inches. And that's for your hood to close. I mean, this is, your hood is going to be, somewhere right in here, not very far over that. And you'll see my overflow tank, got that all brazed up. That was kind of a pain. If you can, buy these. There's a company in California that sells these tanks. They're the manufacturers. They'll sell you the entire thing. It's expensive, $395, but all brazed. You don't get a monkey with it yourself. My guy had to solder all the way around the entire crimp joint. It wasn't watertight. In addition to brazing in all his joints, he had to do that. So, but there may be some fitment issues there as well with the distributor. Stock distributor fits just barely, but I'm running one with the coil on top. Disregard this. So we may have some fitment issues. I may have to pound this flat. I may have to have a laser cut and step this out, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, 1/2 inch. Anyway, so here's what I came up with. More metal fabrication. Thankfully, I had this piece of steel on hand, and I bent this up with a vise and a hand sledgehammer. I mean, pretty, caveman type of stuff. It's not, I really wish, with a metal brake, this would have been a lot nicer and a lot easier. But this is going to mount like this and take the weight of the radiator on this side. And I can't weld in a gusset because it won't fit there. I'll kind of show you over on the radiator. The radiator mounts on an angle, and there's a channel there on the bottom. So we'll kind of go like that and hold it in place. This thing's plenty strong to hold it in place. You see I had to kind of finesse it here a little bit because the radiator barely fits through the frame rails. It does with, you know, not a whole lot of wiggle room. So I had to grind this down. This still has to be primed and painted, but I'll go easy, won't build it up too much. So for drilling steel, I'm prepared to drill steel. And I just want to, you know, most of you guys know this, but here's what you need to drill steel. You need a good punch. This takes a lot of force to push, but it leaves a great mark in your steel to center your drill bit. You can see right there that with that punch, I'm going to drill both at the same time. Start small drill bits, do yourself a pilot hole, then go bigger. I watched some horrifying video on YouTube, and I'm not going to you know, out the guy. Seems like a pretty nice guy, fabricator, pretty knowledgeable guy, but he had a Harbor Freight drill press, and he went right to try and drill a 1-inch hole in something, and he stripped the gears in that Harbor Freight drill press. I mean, holy crap, dude. You start small and work your way up. I'm going to use 3/8 inch bolts, or actually no, I'm going to use 5/16 inch bolts. So I'll still go, you know, 3 drill bits. And over here, what that is that's just a cap full of WD-40, and I will dunk the drill bits in there in between to cool them off and to give them lubrication. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes to drill. So let's get that going on. All right, so success. Take my small victories where I can get them. Got the radiator mounted, the bracket in place. You can see the foam that I put in there. It actually snugs it up pretty nice with the foam taking up that gap in all these brackets. So I have it here. I have another one here. And I have one on the bottom. And what I ended up doing is, you can't see it now, the bolt, I ground down the head of the bolt to make it a little more flush. And I doubled up the foam on that backside there, just to, you know, keep the radiator from, you know, have that bolt head, you know, rubbing through the radiator there. We're in good shape here. You'll see it's off just a little bit. Actually, that looks pretty good at the 16 inches off the cross member that they require. I have to do this bracket. I have it, I'll take you over there. I just got it primed and painted. I have to do this. When I cheaped out, I drilled all the way through. I'm gonna use a 5/16 by 3-inch bolt to go all the way through. Frame's not super wide here. Rather than do a nutsert or thread that, which would be fine, you know, whatever. No one's gonna see it. I'll know it's there. That's just a little bit stronger. Anyway, so over here, just have the bracket. It's still moving, I just painted it. Just got some self-etching primer, some black paint on that, and I'll put, I'll foam up just the bottom, maybe do the curve just a hair there. There's no space for foam here. Hopefully, you know, it's not gonna be able to rub through because they just can't move. The radiator itself is really snug there in between the frame rails. So next issue is we got to go from here to here, some kind of hose. And I don't want to use one of those, you know, kind of collapsible, you know, whatever those ridiculous things are, those universal hoses. Those look just terrible. Now the hard part is going to be, and it's tough to see, is down there where we have the outlet, and we got to get over here to the water pump. And like I said, I think I'm going to have to go underneath, or I may be able to sneak up in between the rack and the frame here. It's tight. Underneath is probably better. And they talk about it going underneath, and they talk about some kind of a brace or a bracket, and it'll definitely be a piece of pipe, you know, good quality stainless pipe to protect it, and I'll have to do some kind of shield or guard for it if I do end up going underneath. But that's, you know, that is not ideal. So part 4, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I got to test fit my Davis Unified Ignition distributor here. Stock, when I said it fits, it's going to be tight in here. To do that, I got to put my turkey pan on, my other air cleaner, and see how that's all going to space out. I do have some longer studs. Those are for the back. I'm holding off on longer studs for the front. For the Mustang 2, the longer studs, the ARP studs, are $12 a piece. Yeah, so set of 5 is 60 bucks. Both sides, 120 bucks. I'm going to need them in order to run the center cap, the knockoff looking center cap. You can see I already have no room there, so I'm gonna have to do something there. Got plug wires, got valve covers ready to go on. I have plenty of stuff to do. So I think we're gonna call it good for part 4 for the radiator. I love it. Please give me a like. Please, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and leave me a comment. I still respond to every comment, and I sincerely do appreciate your support. Thanks, my friends.